So I just wanted to talk a little bit about what I actually think Facebook could have been and where I think we're at with social media right now. Um, so as someone who used social media um, for a little bit as I was growing up, I'm 20 now. I'm right, lower Gen Z, kind of right in the middle. And I kind of have seen how social media has changed from before it really kind of existed to when it was actually quite nice to now where it's an absolute terrible tragedy of just getting people addicted and peddling them ads and just overall being a net negative on society. And some of the thoughts I have on it are this. I think if you look at what Facebook was during, the early 2000s for people in college where it all started, that was truly revolutionary for connecting people. This was a technology that was letting you explore and meet people you wouldn't have otherwise met because of just the quantity of people and whatnot. And so they had a really interesting experience with that technology. But if you look at where we're at now and you kind of compare it to college students currently, right? Um, they absolutely do not have any of that. It's really like you log in Instagram, you're going to see a bunch of slop. And I have friends that will sit on reels. Um, like they have friends on there and stuff, and maybe they'll see an image from time to time. But this is all fake and performative, and just no one gives a shit anymore. It's just all, um, I don't even know the word for it. It's just vain. It's vain. It's no one cares. It's not really connecting you to anyone. It's a bunch of your high school friends that you just don't care about anymore, right? There is a real need for an actual social algorithm that's being used for good, right? I'm going to list some other examples. You have Snapchat, which is really missing the whole social network feature. It's really just a messaging app that's, pretty private. Obviously, is the main use case for it. And it has stories and whatnot. Okay, cool. Then you have other apps like Meetup, which has no algorithm. It's literally just a basic algorithm. I've actually tried to benchmark it myself. It's like most cities have a few groups that are actually active. There's a ton of dead groups too. That's the other problem. That's one example. Another one is LinkedIn. Arguably the closest one to what Facebook should have been, but purely for a professional life, right? You're not really going on there to meet friends or like actually try to do cool things unless you're a really exceptional individual. And then what I've found nowadays is just people send their AI agents out to find you because you have really good SEO, search engine optimization for these AIs. And so the AI's gotten to find your LinkedIn profile and are like, oh, we should reach out to this guy. He could be a co-founder of this company, or he could potentially join as an engineer on our team. So that's my personal experience with it. I'm sure other people have other experiences, but you don't really use it for social networking as much as you do as a signal to employers that you aren't um, incapable of connecting and using the internet to like build a profile is how I would kind of describe it, because I've literally heard that directly from job recruiters as well, right? So that's the current state of things. I don't really even want to mention X because X has kind of become, I compare it more, it's way more closer to something like YouTube than old Facebook, right? X is really made for engaging with content. It's not made for connecting people, in my opinion. Most of the people, not even people, the accounts are very useful information. Like genuinely, tech Twitter is just always the first to something. It's where all the AI news happens. But these are just faceless individuals. Like you're not really like, oh, who is this guy behind the scenes? Like no one cares. That's the reality of it. Now, what do I think Facebook is doing now? And kind of my thesis on it is that they are just genuinely evil. And the reason I say that, same with Google, honestly, same with like any of these companies. X is like an exception because they are really staying in their lane. But anyway, all of these companies that have years and years and millions or even billions of users and has all this data on them, they're using that data just to get you more addicted to the app and peddle you reels. They've all gone to reels. They have so much information on what you love, what gets in your brain, and they probably have background data on like what actually engages you to learn about things, but it's not as profitable as peddling you reels or short form videos of something uh, you know promiscuous or something that's going to trigger different signals in your brain that are more negative and like actively harming your life, right? Maybe an example would be if you're kind of really interested in I don't know, let's say space content, right? And it kind of you've liked some posts on there, but you keep on getting you keep on getting fed posts of women or something, and then it just is going to recommend you women because it knows, oh, human psychology, he's probably going to engage with women more, and then you essentially it's like it's wasting that signal. They're wasting that so they can make more money off you, right? That's the kind of dynamic right there. But what's crazy is they could, if they actually wanted to, and were not evil, they could use that social network that they've gathered of people and all of these different profiles on people to build a massive web. And this is where it gets to like what I really wish the internet could have tried to be with Facebook, but they went down the wrong path. And so you build this giant web, they have the data, and you could essentially connect with anyone, right? And it's going to actually try and connect you with people. It's going to find that one person that could be your soulmate. It's going to find that one best friend that is like very similar to you and you have very similar interests, and you can go and find that person, right? And it could even proactively do that, which we literally have the technology for. The algorithm is just essentially switched to let's farm this person's brain for content and clicks rather than let's actually make their life better and connect them with people to do really cool things. So let me give you a scenario. Let's assume 5% of all people on Reels have like some hidden talent or something they're actually really good at, which could be realistic. Let's assume instead of them watching Reels all day, it connected them with a mentor or it connected them with another group of people interested in the same thing. Imagine how much more culture and art we could be producing. And whether that's a good or bad thing, I think it's a good thing, right? Maybe people would disagree, but the more people we have working on cool problems and trying to better society rather than just rotting on Reels seems like a benefit. And what's so sad is we have the technology to do that. The algorithm, like I keep on saying, is just switched to the wrong way. And the counter argument to this might be, an example like Discord, right? Which does have very large communities. You can search communities of pretty much anything and you're going to go and find it. I will say, however, that despite Discord being a community app, I actually saw the statistics. It's still predominantly a gaming app. And in my mind, gaming, there's only a few games that I would say are actually like beneficial to humanity. And the rest, this is obviously one of my personal opinions, but I just don't think like one of the more popular games like PUBG or something or Fortnite is really like fostering the communities of people that are going to go and solve problems or create new culture and art. It's really just people getting entertainment, which is totally fine. But what my point is like that doesn't even really have an algorithm component to it that's for the betterment of people, right? It's more of just let me search, people that are, I don't know, interested in AI, and there's probably going to be an AI one or like an OPSEC one. I'm going to go and join this and get updates and talk with some people. I don't think they have the data because maybe don't collect as much data, but really that's the gist of what I'm getting at is this like doesn't exist anymore. I think what Facebook could have been could be what I'm describing, and just it isn't. And what sucks is so many people are using that it's really hard to get them to use another app. But I really think that's what we're trying to do with Bello. Like that's in my mind the end goal. And so I'll close off on an example of what would have substantively made my life better in college, right? So I go to the Rochester Institute of Technology as a freshman, and I'm like, okay, I really love simulations. I love programming. I love, I love AI. I want to meet people that are really interested in this stuff. And I didn't join the AI club for like 1 or 2 months because there was no way for me to find it. And like the modalities to find it sucked so much. And even when I did, there were a lot of people in there that also didn't know it was there. So like those people are missed. And if we had a social algorithm, well enough for the entire ecosystem, where this is like a closed ecosystem where it's like you can connect with these people in real life as well. You're just a few meters away essentially because you're all living in the same place. And if I went into Bello and I said, I'm really into simulations, I'm really into AI, can you connect me with some people that are interested in building a project or like a research project? And our algorithm, which we will have the signals, like this is a guarantee, can connect you with the right people, the right clubs, even professors, things like that, like that is a net benefit on society. And I really don't think there's any way outside of like essentially having your AI agent go and do like a massive search of the entire internet, which I've tried, um, to go and do something like that. Like there's really no user accessible way, and I think that's a huge problem that can be solved, and that like extends to everything. I really think algorithms used in the right way could like fundamentally change society for the better. Because right now they're used for like essentially the worst thing possible, right? They're just used to get people addicted. I do think we could just start, all of the numbers could start going up. Fertility, happiness, um, people, people that are unemployed, like everything would be going up because we're all more connected based off all this data we have on ourselves. And that's the future I see and that I hope we can get to. Um, and I'm optimistic on it. I do think people are going to hopefully wake up and be like, maybe I don't want to watch Reels for 6 hours today, which would be awesome. But we will see. So, yeah, those are some of my thoughts on it. But, yeah, we will see what happens. Again, I don't know anything, and I'm not entirely sure on my thesis, but that's what I've noticed, and I really hope we can course correct. So I'm happy to keep on trying for it, right?